Hey everybody, this is Carla. Carla from the future. I am going through some of my older videos, my first ones, before I knew how to edit, and I'm cleaning them up, editing for the first time, and making them hopefully more enjoyable, more concise. The content was good, but the the production value maybe wasn't the best. If you got through the first versions of these, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm sorry. These new versions will be much better, I'm sure, and I hope you enjoy them. I hope you find them useful. Thanks a lot.
Hi everybody, this is Carla. Welcome to the Happy Bookmaker. So this week, we are going to continue on with our art journal layout. Maybe we can recap a little bit. This is just a child's book that I got at, I think it was the Ark, for 99 cents. And it is just, it's those, I don't know what it's made out of, but like really, really heavy chipboard. And it's just kind of ideal for this kind of thing because it takes paint, it takes glue without, it's not gonna warp and things like that. And there aren't that many pages. So for me, I can get a little overwhelmed when there's too much going on. If I feel like, oh, I have this whole book to fill up. So I did this before last week's layout. And then last week, we did this second layout together. And love the way it turned out. And so now I've just picked a little spot in the middle of the book, and I kind of showed you some of the items that I wanted to use in this layout last week, but here they are again. And kind of one of my main focal points was these daisies, which were from a photo that I took just from the backyard last year. And I printed this out on plain copy paper, and I fussy cut around all the leaves. And it looks three-dimensional. I think that's kind of cool. It looks three-dimensional. I'm gonna have to cut a little bit off to fit on the page, but this was kind of one of my main focuses. By the way, in the picture, this Phlox, I'm pretty sure this is called a Phlox. I've been calling it a Phlox. If I'm wrong, please somebody tell me. And you can kind of see where the daisies are going in front of it. So I'll get to this, but this is gonna be part of it, not this photo, but this is gonna be part of this art journal layout. So we've got that and that. I've got this, this is a digital print of French antique newspaper. And I did some of these kinds of things in my very first video, making digital prints look old and vintage and kind of authentic, more authentic anyway. And so we're gonna use one of those. And this was also a digital print from one of my favorite creators, Kelly at Book and Paper Arts. And I just fell in love with this. I love the colors because I love blue. I love kitties. I mean, what more could you ask for? So, and it's got French. By the way, I'm obsessed with anything French. So, so I got to use it. Also, in my very first video, I did some postcards that we kind of aged and did the same thing too, kind of made them look more authentic and realistic, and just on cardstock. But we're gonna do a little aging on that. It'll just take a couple minutes. Because of the little bit of red in here, I'm gonna bring in this red element, and this was from a book, I think it's called Wildflowers of the World, and I think it's Barbara Everhart, if I'm not mistaken. So I cut this out as fussy as I could, but there's a lot of little detail in there, so it's not gonna be perfect. And again, I'll have to cut off a little bit of this at the end. And then there's just some other little pieces that I might wanna throw in here just for funsies, but that'll be at the very end. This is like a piece of like 1800s book page. I know it's just a little piece of paper, but I like it. This is a little stamp on a little piece of cardstock. This is from, it's like a book all about, I think it's like all about cooking or something, but this is, I don't know if you can see, it's like French cooks or something. I'm not really sure what they're doing. The Queen like closet or rich cabinet. I have no idea what that means, but I really like it. This may not go on there. And then I just like, I don't know, I came across this little leaf and so it could go on there. So here's what we're gonna start with. We're gonna start laying down our background paper. Oh, I forgot this little guy. This is also a sheet of vintage or antique book paper, and that is gonna go down as a background page. So I did lay down a coat of acrylic gesso, which unfortunately, I've used it twice, and it's weirdly latexy. Like it stuck together. I mean, after like almost a whole day, it stuck together and kind of pulled some little bits off. It doesn't matter, it's gonna get covered up, but like it's very latexy, which I thought was kind of odd. It'll work. And then I went over this side with the blue that is in our digital print, or you know, something that's similar to it, because I want to bring that blue in over on this side. So this vintage piece of book paper is going to go here. We are going to lay down our mock vintage newspaper page in the middle. This is going to kind of lay right in here. We're gonna put down, after we age some of these things, we're gonna put this little guy down. We are going to somehow lay down this red flower across the page. Now here's where we get into the real artistic part. I do wanna lay this down, and I'm going to do that at the very end. But before I do that, I don't know if you can see the pencil here. I have lightly sketched in this phlox flower to paint before I put down, I think even before I put this sheet down, just because if the painting goes under it, that's okay. So this is gonna be real loose. This is not gonna be Monet or I think I said that last time, like not Monet, not Van Gogh, nothing like that. It's gonna be really loose. Alrighty, let's start with our first, and that's this guy here. I'm gonna take my corner rounder because we have our rounded edges. That, okay. And we're just gonna glue this down. And let's see, here's our bone folder. I actually have it handy this time. So, well, here's where it gets tricky because I have to lay this down before I put this down. Okay, we're gonna do it. I don't have to lay this part down right away. So, I've already kind of got a fold in here. So actually, let's just do it like this. I want it to be kind of even on the top and the bottom. I mean, not exact, but it is really sticky. Sticking quite well. Get this down like this. Yeah, okay. Put a little bit of glue down in the center. Let's see if I can do this without getting in the way. We're gonna like push that in, push that over. And I didn't do any aging on this because I had previously done it. And what I did was I just tore this out. I printed it on, if you didn't watch the previous video, on this like children's scribble pad, which is really light and newspaper-like. And I kind of ripped it around rough and did a little bit of this vintage photo inking around the edges to kind of give it a little bit of age. And I think, I'm gonna cover him up. I think we're gonna do that around this too. I was kind of debating if I wanted to do black, but I think I'm gonna keep things all with the vintage photo. I like to kind of go over the top too, because obviously this was printed on like a whitish paper, just to give it a little bit of that look. Okay, there's that. And then we're gonna go down with this. Give her lots of stickum here. There we go. And again, you know, this is just stuff that this is for, you know, this book is for me. It's just stuff that I think is really pretty. You know, kind of makes my heart happy. I like looking at it. And that's what, you know, an art journal should be. It should be your expression, what you find to be beautiful or moving to you in any way. I guess it doesn't have to be beautiful. It can just be what you want to express. So putting in just things that I really like. This is where the baby wipes come in handy. Because sometimes the dry, just like a dry paper towel, oh, well, now it looks a little wet. It's gonna dry. Will just stick to it, and then you've got dry paper towel also stuck on your layout. And that's not fun. Okay, let's take the digital printed postcard that is on cardstock, and let's give it a little beat up here. Let's make it look old. Does it have any original marks? Not really. I mean, this is a digital print of an actual vintage postcard, French, of course. So it's got that going for it. I'm gonna take sandpaper. I found this to be really helpful last time. You know what? Actually, let's do the inking first, and then I'm gonna go over that. So now we're gonna go over the edge, and I'm trying not to go over this edge, which I kind of explained before, because really, your aging isn't gonna be so much on this part. It's gonna be probably on the front of it, more than likely. And I mean, that's all I've done, and look at the difference. Now we're gonna go over with just a little sandpaper. When you have a darker image, a darker postcard, when you go over it with the sandpaper, it looks really realistic and authentic, because it looks like it's worn off, you know, on the corners. So it's probably gonna go something like that. I'm gonna get this little guy kind of inked up a little bit too. They're just wonderful images in her book. I found it on thrift books for like, I think it was like 30 bucks. I mean, there's like, I think it says there, I hate to say, like 10,000 flowers or something like that. The paper cover was missing. And I thought, well, you know, for my use, I don't need that. So I thought that was a tremendous deal. Okay, so she's got a little aging. So I think I want it to be, I'm trying not to cover up too much of the postcard. So I think it's gonna be something like, and then this is really long, but I like it. I kind of want to show it. So I think we're gonna go something like this. So now I need to, let's see, maybe I will have to bring it down because I don't really want to get into trying to cut that even. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of mark this there. So I just kind of bent it on the page. We're gonna cut it off there, okay? Maybe ink that a little bit. Oh, that's blue. That's okay, we have blue in this layout, it'll work. No, I covered it up. Okay, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So now, just gotta remember where you go. Okay, like that. Oh yeah. So I'm still showing like the postmark and some of the French writing. So I'm not covering up anything very important. Okay. All right. Come around. Oh yeah, okay. Whew, okay, I think we're down. down. Oh, that's pretty. So pretty. So here's how we're looking so far. I'm going to take a little of the ink. Let's just do that now. We're going to go around the edges just to kind of age it up a little bit, because that's something that I love. And you know what the heck? Let's go around and do the other side. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. So here's where I can't put this down yet because I have to do the painting first. And I'm not going to do the other little pieces yet because I want to wait until we're all done. So we're going to start with the painting. I've never had to paint in real time where somebody might actually see it, see me doing it. So this is just acrylic. I'm using the thick body for the yellow because it'll show up better. So I'm just on my disposable palette, throwing down some colors. Might need a little bit more green. We always need white. I'm gonna have to move this over even more. Okay, I should be able to see everything. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera. This is gonna make our, like if we need to fill in with any of this color, I'm just gonna have a little bit on here ready to go. And for the brand, there's like the, I don't know, it's like the base. By the way, I'm not doing the bumblebee. That's just way too much. So this base, like, I don't know what you call that, where the flower comes out. It's kind of like browns and tans. So we're gonna need some brown. And of course we're gonna be, you know, lightening some of that. I think yellow ochre for like the dark, like it's hard to tell on this picture, I'm sure. But I will start with like a darker paint first, and then I'll go over it with a lighter paint, because then this will be your shadow. So, all right, here we go. This is, I've got my inspiration picture. I don't know about other people, but I cannot paint from, gosh darn it, I cannot paint like from memory. I have to have something to look at, which, you know, I don't think that's, I think most people are like that actually. So I'm gonna start with, and I just dipped my paint, my brush in a little bit of water, and I'm going into this yellow ochre. And I know it seems counterintuitive, but I'm just gonna draw a blob, or I'm gonna paint a little round blob here. Okay, and now I think I'm gonna come in with, let's see, which brush? Let's do this little guy, and we're gonna start with, and mix a little bit of this brown, a little bit of this yellow ochre, and a little white. I gotta do it with my right hand. To start putting in, maybe a little more brown, some of this, like the base where the flowers come out of. So this is gonna be the same thing where I'm gonna put down a darker color first, and they're just gonna be like little, you know, just little splotches here. And so what this is doing is, it's just really hard to see on this photo, but it's just giving me some of the darker tones in that base of the flower there. Okay, start with some stems. So I'm gonna do like the big stalk here. And so this is basically gonna be the darker tone in the stem. There's gonna be like a couple more layers going over this, so not too worried about it. And it doesn't even have to be like completely opaque. Now, I'm gonna do kind of the same thing with the leaves. Just kind of get a little water here. Kind of get started on, you know, some leaf shapes. I sketch them out lightly with pencil. And these leaves are like, they're like real curly and frilly looking. Really pretty. Okay, so that's our first layer of, gosh, I hope you can see that. I know it's like dark green. First layer of leaves. So let's do, this is gonna be wet. We're gonna let that dry a little bit. Oh, I do have a leaf up there I need to tackle. It's a little guy right in here. It's kind of going behind. There's going to be more coming up in here, but I'm going to do the white on that first, and then we're going to come back with the with more green leaves. Let's take this one. I'm going to mix some of this brown, our brown over here. There's a little green on there, but that's okay. With some white, and we want a pretty good chunk of white. And I'm just trying to pick up like the lighter parts of that. And a lot of it's gonna be covered up anyway, but I wanna get it in there. See, like just doing that. I feel like I should lay this down, so maybe, oh, does that help? So you can see. That actually helps me. Let's do sort of a medium green, kind of go over it. This paint dries really, really quickly. And I'm gonna do this lighter yellow like at the end because it is in front of everything else. And you know, I want it to really pop. Okay, so I've got our medium green. We're gonna add a little more yellow, a little more white to make it more of a limey kind of green. Okay, so here's where now I'm just gonna kind of lightly go over what I've already done. I'm gonna go over like this middle part in the end and do like a little bit of veining, just very slight. I want to get a little yellow on this little guy back here. So we've got this, I do have to put a leaf here. Let's see, let me go over my stem here. And there was a, I'm gonna do it backwards this time. There is a leaf, there's actually a couple of them kind of coming up. And I'm gonna throw in a little bit of the dark here too. Maybe a lot more white. Probably go over it one more time. We're gonna take our smaller brush, and you can see where there's like, you know, lighter parts on the leaves where the sun is hitting. I'm not gonna get too technical with that. Maybe I should have even used the smaller brush. I also like to have like a little peak. You wanna have that little peak. Or like a little sharp point, I should say. Like there's a suggestion of like a vein, I guess. This also kind of gives, you know, some separation between the layers. I mean, the lighter at the end, I feel like really sort of brings everything to life. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that. I like it a lot. Okay, let's just do a little something here. I feel like there's a gap there. There we go. Just get a little, you know, it's just kind of like go by feel. And you want to punch up some little areas, you know, punch them up. Right, I think that's good for the green. I'm loving it. Okay. One last thing before the yellow is I'm going to put a little bit more really light of this brown over those little, whatever those things are. Just like a couple of touches here. Let's start with one layer of the yellow, the bright yellow. So I'm going to go over it straight in with this, just nothing added to it. And then I'm going to do like a lighter we are going to get some smaller, those little wisps. We're going to get some of those in the end, but those will be at the very end. Okay, so we're going to come back to that and let that dry for a couple minutes. This is the tricky part with painting in real time is, you know, there's dry time, you know, and there's just no way to get around it. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think I'm gonna go in with an actual white and go around just a little highlighting on these leaves. Okay, so you kind of see like that there are some little white spots. Now, sometimes I can get crazy with the white and do too much and then it looks outliney. I'm gonna try really hard not to do that. because I really like the white. And this is just straight out of the tube white. So it's got, you know, the most punch, I guess you could say. Okay, let's go back in with some more yellow. Actually, that's a pretty good representation of the color. Actually pretty pleased with that. So let's just do, hold this down. I just want to kind of make it, yeah, I'm gonna have to get a smaller brush because it's time, I think, to get some wispies in here. I just kind of fill that in. Goes out at the side a little bit, so it's like not such a round ball. Okay, if I was brave, I would do the bumblebee, but I'm not that brave. Maybe later, not in front of everybody. Okay, the wispies. Yeah, look at that. It's working, it's working. Not a lot of that darker is showing through, but I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. I'm afraid if I try to go back and put in the darker, I'm gonna mess it up. What do you think? I think I should, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. If I could just do like a few little wisps for depth, because there is like a center of this flower. And of course the center is always the darkest. Hey, I think that's working here. Yay! I like that. Okay. One last thing is just a little bit of like almost completely white on our petals or those little wispies on some of these. This is where it can like get you in trouble though, like if you do too much of it. And really one last thing, just a few little dabs of white on those little brown thingies. The paint really took well on this this book board with the acrylic paint, with the gesso and the acrylic over it. It really did. Ta-da! So now this will go over it just a little. Just goes right over that. Now deciding sort of where to, let me get this out of the way, where to put, I think this could go, where to put our daisies, because I want them to kind of, yeah, something like that, so that the phlox is kind of in the background and it can come forward this way. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, should I bring it down more? Let's see, or should I go up further? Like, do I want it at the same level as the Phlox or lower? That'll cut off some of that, but I like it. I'm gonna go with it. Okay, now that I've bent this, okay, I'm gonna go with it. This is gonna give me my cut line. Yeah, but then we want it to go a little bit in front of that. Yeah, okay. Glue that guy down. Where's glue? Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's cool, huh? If I do say so myself, and I think it is. Okay. All right. Yes. I do like this little stamp, although I wonder if it fights with that a little bit. But I could stick it down here. Could do that. I kind of like that. So I think, oh, and he's fallen off the page, but I can fix him later. So let's put that little stamp down here. Let's give him a little inking. And see, this is now tying in our red again and our blues. I kind of like this little admission sticker, but I'm gonna wait until I go around that. And you know what, let's do this pencil, which is one of those pencils that I think you can wet it and it will look like after I put it down, if you put a brush over it, it'll kind of look like paint. So instead of painting around it, you know, you don't have paint around it. That's what I'm trying to get at. But I don't know if I'm gonna wanna do that because I really just want a little bit of pop, but I don't want it to get, oh no, I'm gonna have to erase that. I don't want it to get too like, you know, too thick. And then I feel like it can kind of make the page look dirty. You can see just a little bit of outlining how much that really pops. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And should I put that there or not? Yeah, I don't know. I do kind of like that, but I also don't want to cover up too much of this pretty paper. I think I'm going to leave it. I think it's good. I think it's good, you guys. So there you go. Art journal layout number 3. Thank you so much. And if you liked it, give it a like and subscribe. And I really appreciate you. And this is so much fun. And have a great rest of the day, everybody. Bye-bye.